we have this kind of travel element coming in. I mean, nights always indicate progress and movement anyway. And then we have the Fool here, starting a new journey, a new major new life cycle. And the Six of Swords also indicates a journey too. So there is movement here. Maybe slow though, but let's have a look. So we have the Fool coming up. Now the Fool as your underlying energy, it's amazing. I love this as an underlying energy because it's when we're getting ready to go again. We're getting ready to begin a major new life cycle. This is not the beginning. This is not the end. This is that interim period in between cycles. You know, when one hasn't, it's kind of ended with the world, right? And we're getting ready to begin with the Magician, seeing, you know, how we're going to go forward, what we're going to do. But the Fool is when you are preparing to get started to go on this journey. And he always looks out over this cliff, right? And he's ready to take a leap of faith. Why is it a leap of faith? Because he doesn't know what's coming up on the journey. He doesn't have a map. He knows where he's been and he has a knowledge from that. But, you know, any map he would have would only show him where he's been. Because where you're going, it's uncharted territory. It's brand new energy that's coming in. So the whole point of the Fool is trust and faith. Do you have faith? And you don't have to have faith in what's going to come up on the journey, who you're going to meet, any of that stuff. Because, you know, as human beings, we always look for guarantees. Is there a guarantee here? How do I know what's going to come up? You don't. But he doesn't need to. The Fool is trusting, enthusiastic, happy to get started because he has faith in himself. He has faith that there will be support and friendship along the way. And, you know, he's there to enjoy the experience of what's going to come up. I've got 2 notes there, just noticed. So we have the Knight of Pentacles at the heart of your reading. And that's just it. The Knight of Pentacles, as much as I'm saying this is about enjoying the experience, going forward with faith, taking a leap of faith. This is that wanting some guarantees, making a plan. What am I going to do? Energy. Card at the heart of the reading is always the focus of what everything revolves around. This is going slowly and it's absolutely fine to go slowly. You know, we always say about the Knight of Pentacles that he's the slowest moving knight. Yet, you know, he might be the slowest moving knight, but he still moves. He doesn't just stand there. He's not just rock solid. He'll take one step at least forward. It's just that he's very careful, very diligent in the way that he moves forward. Now, why does he go so slowly? Yes, he's trying to be very careful, but that's just it. I mean, what I'm getting with these two is there may be a tendency here, Pisces, I can't even speak, to need some kind of a map, need some kind of a plan. I kind of talked about this on Instagram this morning, where, you know, sometimes when we're trying to move ahead or we're trying to move forward, we do this whole, I'll wait until I have this, or I'll wait until that happens. And sometimes it's all about this next step that you take now with what you've got, right? There may not be a perfect moment to get moving. This might be it. Just go forward and then trust that, you know, you'll get or you'll find whatever it is that you will find. Now, it's interesting because you are moving ahead, but you haven't been able to for a while because we have the Devil coming up as the past or the foundational energy. And the past, like I always say, it's last week, last month, last year. It doesn't matter. It just indicates why we are where we are. And the Devil talks about those things that hold us back, that have power over us, right? The chains that hold us back. These can be like temptations that we have. These can be old behavioral patterns, addictions, whatever. But it's something that was holding us back, is the past. So you've overcome something. Now, the thing is, and I'm kind of getting it from this reading, as much as you weren't, whatever was holding you back is not holding you back now. Sometimes it can take a while, you know, for us to realize, if you can imagine, it's almost as if you're a butterfly in a jar, right? And someone's removed the lid off the jar, but we don't realize. So we're still kind of trapped in there, but we don't realize that, you know, the lid's off, we can fly out. And when I say a butterfly in a jar, maybe like a bird in a cage is what I meant more. But do you know what I mean? That's, you are free, but I think maybe some of you don't realize it. Or you realize it and you're being very tentative in the way that you come out now, with this Knight of Pentacles coming in. Why is that? Because you're exhausted, whatever this was, you know, and this is not an easy energy. The Devil isn't easy. It may have felt like something had power over you or someone had power you. You were dealing with power dynamics, or just in that, as much as you were trying to move ahead, you've not been able to. There is movement now. Take that, Pisces. If you take nothing else from this reading, understand that this is the past. You're not being held back now. You can go forward. But where are you going forward to, and how are you going forward? So we have the 9 of Wands coming up here in the present. And this is kind of a defensive energy. But why? Because you've been doing something for such a long time. It's kind of left you exhausted, tired, you know, Have a look at this guy. He has that one of the wands there, the one that he's been guarding this, right? And he's been here so long, there's ivy growing up it. So it's like there is something that you've been doing for a long time. You've invested a lot of time and effort into it. And I understand that, you know, if someone says to you now that it kind of feels like there's something new emerging here, whatever that might be, whether that's new relationship, work, just in general in your life. I mean, when the Fool comes up, that's overall, that's a major new life cycle. It affects everything. It's not just one little thing. But you kind of feel exhausted and tired and thinking, I don't know if I'm ready to do this just yet. And yeah, you might need a nap or, you know, to take a break before you get started on this new journey that's coming in. And how do you do that? How do you take your nap? How do you recharge your energy? And especially because you don't want to go forward defensively. But the whole thing with the Nine of Wands is, who put these up? Did he put them up to defend something? But if you were defending yourself from this kind of toxic, whatever this was, this energy, and this can sometimes be someone, we're dealing with someone who has addictions or our own, right? It's almost like that's gone. So you don't need to defend that anymore. Whatever you've been working towards when the Nine of Wands shows up, it's showing that it very quickly kind of comes in. Because the only card left after this I think nines are the completions anyway, and tens are the outcomes of the completions, because a 10 kind of, we can reduce it down to a 1, which is like the ace. So that's how the cycle begins again. It's completed. It's done, whatever this is. And so how you recharge your batteries, how you go forward is with the Knight of Cups. And that's your card, Pisces. The Knight of Cups. He is the dreamer. What's the dream? Because we have this very practical energy up here, but he's not going to do anything. He won't move forward. He's not going to have a plan if he doesn't have a dream, right? I love the combination of these two, because if you can imagine, the Knight of Cups is going to come up with the dream, oh, let's do this, or I feel like this. And, you know, he is called a delusional romantic sometimes. But why? Because he will focus on how he feels. In that way, he's like the Fool, because the Fool wants to just experience, is in it just for the experience. That's the Knight of Cups. I want to feel good, you know, very focused on how he feels. Whereas the Knight of Pentacles is very reliable, very dependable, ready to go and make it happen, right? He's the hardest working knight out of all the knights. He's the one that's going to see it through till the end. So that is a pretty lethal combination that we have here with these two. I like that. Now, what's the advice here for you? Well, the advice is the Six of Swords. You are moving away from a difficult situation, and that's this. You're moving away from this, whatever was holding you back. So like I said, for some of you, we have 4 cards here of movement. Six of Swords is the journey card. The Knights, they naturally indicate movement. And then the Fool's setting out on a journey. Some of you could be literally planning a trip or moving somewhere. But with the Six of Swords coming up here, yes, this is about leaving something behind. You're leaving it behind, you're moving forward, and it's usually moving towards something that we love. We're closing the distance between ourselves and our goal, right? Whatever it is that we're headed towards. I'm going to say this for some of you as well, and it might just be a couple of you this resonates with. With the Nine of Wands coming up in the present, staying put where you are, I kind of feel like you're done as much as you can in that situation. So whether that's that relationship, whether that's that job, and I'm not saying leave it, it doesn't have to be leave it, but it is that you've done as much as you can where you are, the way that you've done it. Wands the energy that we put out into the world, our passions, our creativity, right? And it kind of feels almost like you're just going to be left doing whatever, the same thing here. It's about changing it up. And how you change it up is by looking at what your dream is. How do you want to feel? What's the wish here? You know, what are you headed towards? And it's all about the emotion. It's all about tapping into that emotion. Now, the thing with the Six of Swords is they always take the swords with them in the boat, right? And that I always see that as, I don't want to say emotional baggage, because they're swords and that's our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, but it's the lessons that you've learned from what you've been through. You take them with you. You know, whatever we go through, it changes us. So that's why it's always good to check in and check what your dream is or what that new wish is, because it's always changing. If our knowledge has changed or the experience has changed us, then obviously the dreams that we have, the goals that we have, they change as well. Now, some of you may be dealing with earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or another water sign, or a Capricorn we have here as well. But you know, the signs do not own the cards. They just lend their characteristics to the cards. Let's get you some oracle cards and see how this plays out. Be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. And you know, that could be another thing that because you've been kind of defensive or trying to get whatever you've been doing done, You may not have been as attentive or, shown. You might, I'm not saying that you don't care, but when you're busy doing something else, doing that, trying to make something happen, planning your trip or whatever it is that you're trying to do, it might be difficult. There might be people around you that feel kind of neglected. Have faith, trust your faith in this situation. And I think that comes from this. If you feel good, if you're true to your emotions, you will have faith. And then Capricorn got this as well. You are limitless. Recognize this truth. You can do anything you choose to do. You're kind of stepping into that power, I feel. You kind of understand that you don't have to be stuck doing this, whatever it is that you've been doing. You don't have to. There's other things that you could be doing. Breathe. I love it when this card comes up because we can get overwhelmed sometimes by what am I doing? Where am I going? That's the Fool thing. The Fool doesn't know where he's going, but we can overwhelm ourselves because we are creatures like that. We want some kind of form of guarantee or what if I do this, what's going to come out of it? But that's the have faith card. And the breathe card is very similar. It asks you if you feel overwhelmed, if you're trying to decide, and then we see this person kind of floating around, just meditating here. You can always connect back to your breath. If you feel overwhelmed in any situation, that's the easiest way to ground yourself and to connect to where you are. Just take a deep breath. Understand that, you always have that oxygen in your lungs. You have everything that you need to go on this journey. You need you, basically. And you've learned a lot from whatever you've been through. Okay, it says, oh my, dear you. Oh my, things are stirred up and changes upon you. This is cause for celebration. No need to be nervous. But know that it's okay to be afraid when faced with the uncertainties of life. The funny thing is that courage doesn't get mustered in the absence of fear, rather in spite of it or even because of it. Step into the unknown now. Let go of the branch you are clinging to and let spirit take the wheel and help steer you to your highest good and most wonderful adventure. And this is a new adventure coming in if you think about it. All you need to concern yourself with is choosing courage as your ally. Leave the rest up to us. There's a load of miracles being shipped your way. Remember what philosopher Joseph Campbell said. Take one step toward the gods and they will take 10 toward you. We're all doing the destiny cha-cha on your behalf. That's right. Don't be afraid to dance. Loving you always. And, that might be it. That's why you're kind of doing the whole breathe thing and have faith in that. Sometimes with the Six of Swords, we know what we're leaving behind, right? We know what we're leaving behind, but we're not precisely certain what we're moving towards yet. But look what you are leaving behind, whatever's holding you back, which means you're free. There's a freedom here. Look how free he is. Just standing at the edge of the cliff. He doesn't, he's not afraid of the edge of the cliff. Why? Because he knows that if he falls, he'll land on his feet. He's totally fearless. He's all about where he's going, what he's going to get out of that situation. And so there is a kind of implied courage here because, that's what I'm getting, that you know what you're leaving behind, which is whatever this is. It could be a toxic relationship, being held back at work, whatever, something that kind of you felt tied down and restricted by this. And it's been hard work, getting out of this because you're exhausted and tired here. But it's about reconnecting with your dreams, reconnecting with, that part of you that is limitless, that you can do anything that you choose to do. So if you want to move forward, if you want to go for a dream, if you want to make something happen, you can do it with all of this energy. A lot of movement energy this week. So I'm not saying you're all moving this week, but I think it is about moving away from this feeling stuck and being defensive energy that's coming up for you guys.